You are probably aware of the Mongol Empire, but how much do you really know about it? Have you ever considered what life would be like if they were still around? If the Mongol Empire never fell, but continued to grow into the modern day?
That's why in this video, I'm sending 1,000 kids to establish a new Mongol empire. The first one to succeed wins $1 million.
To start, how did an empire as great as the Mongols collapse? Well, it was shockingly ordinary. Similar to great empires before it, and even after it, the Mongol Empire simply became too big to manage effectively. The sons of Genghis Khan were inefficient rulers, and his grandsons, excluding Kublai Khan, did not manage the fracturing Mongol Empire well at all. Kublai Khan, though he was the last great Khan and established Mongol rule in China, his policies and extravagant spending caused unrest, which only worsened after his death. Ultimately, Kublai's sons were even worse, causing Mongol's empire split into 4 khanates. These khanates would fall one by one to various internal issues and external pressures throughout the next century. Oh, and the plague had a role too, because it was, the plague. Alright, now that you're all caught up, we can get into the real meat and potatoes of the subject. Now I want you to close your eyes and really consider what things would be like if the Mongol Empire never fell. What do you see? No, not that. I mean, think about world leaders, technology, and ideas. Would they all disappear? The Mongols valued exchange, both of physical goods and ideas. There's a reason why they kidnapped artisans and scholars. If the Mongol Empire never fell, they would most likely promote scholarship and scientific research. Unfortunately for Americans, the expeditions that would eventually lead to the discovery of the American continent may not come to pass until much later, or even at all. The main reason for these expeditions was that the Europeans wanted to avoid being taxed by the Ottomans. The expansion of the Ottoman Empire to the point where they dominated overland trade routes was facilitated by the collapse of the Mongol Empire. I bet you can see where this is going. On the topic of America, what about democracy? Well, who needs to vote if everyone is already treated fairly equally? In the Mongol Empire, anyone who is loyal to the Khan, no matter ethnicity, religion, or gender, was treated with tolerance. Religions were tolerated with respect, women in Mongol culture were given the right to own property, and conquered peoples were afforded independence so long as they supported Mongol ambitions. This means that the world most likely remained ruled by a Khan, with little in the way of democratic representation. However, regions could be mostly self-governed if they paid tribute to the Khanate. Though the Mongols were not able to conquer Japan or enter into Africa in our timeline, in this reimagining we were giving them a second chance. If they had stuck around for a bit longer, they might have actually been able to do this. The Mongols were adaptable after all. Here's how I imagine it would play out. What about current problems and technologies? Since the Mongols promoted innovation, it's not hard to imagine that the Mongol Empire would rapidly advance technologically, especially in weaponry, which was used in the Mongols' favorite activity, war. After establishing control around the world, though, the Mongols would only use their weapons to maintain order, similar to the Pax Mongolica of the 1200s and 1300s. However, industrialization might be a different story. Arguably, the most important reason that Europe industrialized was their dominance in the trade between the Americas, Europe, and Africa. If the Mongols were dominant across Afro-Eurasia, though, this would not come to fruition. The Mongols preferred land-based trade, and, as previously stated, the discovery of the Americas would not come to pass until at least all of the Afro-Eurasian landmass was conquered by the Mongols. There would be no need for overseas exploration if they were preoccupied at home. Both of these factors combined might delay the Industrial Revolution and therefore the scientific revolution as we know them. However, Because of the Mongol deep appreciation for the scientific discovery, they would still see advancement. Again, most likely in weaponry first and manufacturing technology second. Additionally, because Europe would never have the opportunity to gain a foothold as a global power, the problems caused by European colonization and therefore decolonization wouldn't happen. Religious wars, such as the Crusades and conflicts in India between Hindus and Muslims, would not happen. The Mongols were very tolerant of religions and worked hard to keep peace between the various peoples within their vast empire. War in general would continue as regions are conquered and reconquered, but total war would not be an imminent threat, as Mongol leadership prioritized trade routes remaining open, even during times of war. Therefore, because of this factor, in addition to having little in the way of nationalist sentiments, or nations at all for that matter, World War I and II would not happen. So, what are we looking at? In summary, if the Mongol Empire never fell, they would dominate all of Afro-Eurasia through brutal subjugation, turning into a gigantic Mongol Empire ruled by a Khan. Regions that are part of this empire would have access to a network of safe and secure trade routes, as well as being provided with relative autonomy. Individuals would also be free to practice their religion and continue with their lives as they wished. Just don't think about forgetting to pay your taxes.